I owe a lot to nature, you know. As a child, I found beauty and magic in the rippling waves of water. As a chemist, I found insight into atomic orbitals. Intrigued? Keep thinking. Welcome to the show. Today I will take you through the exciting world of molecular orbital theory. Together, we will study the linear combination of atomic orbitals and learn how to classify molecular orbitals as bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals. After that, we will learn how to write the electronic configuration of homonuclear diatomic molecules. Finally, in Exam Decoded, you will get some expert advice to help you max your scores. Ever since you have been introduced to the world of science, you have been taught that an atom is the building block of all matter and that atoms combine to form molecules. You are also aware that fundamental to understanding the nature and behavior of an atom is its configuration. Clearly, an understanding of this will give us an insight into the structure and types of the molecules it forms. While an atomic orbital is the space around which the probability of finding an electron is maximum, in molecules, electrons are distributed in various molecular orbitals in increasing order of energy. Now, what are molecular orbitals? Molecular orbitals result from the combination and arrangement of atomic orbitals within a molecule, and the number of molecular orbitals formed is equal to the number of atomic orbitals which combine to form them. For instance, if two atomic orbitals combine, it will result in the formation of two molecular orbitals, not less, not more. Do you remember the ripples of water at the beginning of the show that reminded me of atomic orbitals? It was not just the image, but a certain scientific fact that prompted me to say so, and that is atomic orbitals exhibit wave nature. At the beginning of the 20th century, experimental evidence suggested that atomic particles were also wave-like in nature. For example, electrons were found to give diffraction patterns when passed through a double slit in a similar way to light waves. Therefore, it was reasonable to assume that a wave equation could explain the behavior of atomic particles. Schrödinger was the first person to write down such a wave equation wherein atomic orbitals can be expressed by wave function psi, which represents the amplitude of the electron waves of an orbital. The drawback of Schrödinger equation is that it cannot be solved for any system containing more than one electron. So, another method known as linear combination of atomic orbitals or LCAO method was adopted. In order to understand the LCAO system, today we will consider homonuclear diatomic molecules. These molecules are made of identical atoms, for example N2 and O2. Let us consider a diatomic molecule of two atoms with wave functions psi A and psi B. If we understand the LCAO method mathematically, the formation of molecular orbitals psi MO will be described by addition or subtraction of wave function of the individual atomic orbitals psi A and psi B. The formation of molecular orbitals formed by addition of atomic orbitals are called bonding molecular orbitals. A bonding molecular orbital always possesses lower energy than either atomic orbital. This is so because the electron density is located between the nuclei of the bonded atoms. This leads to a decrease in repulsion between the nuclei. On the other hand, the formation of molecular orbitals formed by subtraction of atomic orbitals are called antibonding molecular orbitals. A key point to remember for you in exams is that antibonding molecular orbital always possesses higher energy than either atomic orbital. This is so because the electron density is located away from the space between the nuclei. There is a nodal plane between the nuclei and the repulsion between the nuclei is high. Nodal plane is a plane on which electron density is zero. The linear combination of atomic orbitals can take place only if certain conditions are satisfied. Firstly, the combining atomic orbitals should have the same energy. For example, 1s orbital will combine with 1s orbital but cannot combine with a 2s orbital since 2s orbital is higher in energy than 1s orbital. The second condition is that the combining orbitals should have the same symmetry about the molecular axis. For example, 2pz orbital of one atom will combine with 2pz orbital of another atom, but 2pz orbital cannot combine with 2px because they have different symmetries. Lastly, the combining atomic orbitals must overlap to a maximum extent. This is because a great extent of overlapping leads to greater electron densities between the nuclei of a molecular orbital, thereby leading to less repulsion. Let us now explore the extent and nature of overlaps. You know that the shape of a 1s orbital is spherical. These spherical orbitals undergo a head-on overlap or axial overlap to form 2 sigma 1s molecular orbitals, namely bonding and antibonding. The same kind of overlapping takes place between 2s and 2s atomic orbitals. Now let's move from s to p orbital. As you know, there are 3 2p orbitals, 2px, 2py and 2pz. Now, as per LCAO method, they will combine with the same atomic orbitals with the same symmetry. Since Z is the internuclear axis, when 2pz combines with 2pz atomic orbital, a sigma 2pz molecular orbital and sigma star 2pz molecular orbital is formed. But when 2px combines with 2px atomic orbital, it forms a pi 2px molecular orbital and a pi star 2px antibonding molecular orbital. Same is the case with 2py orbital. You know, besides teaching and research, I also enjoy playing cricket a lot. And though I play cricket for fun, if there weren't any rules in the game, then the excitement of playing and the quality of my performance would never be the same. Also, each team member might have his own ideas about how to go about the game, which can be quite chaotic. The point I am trying to make is that knowing your rules can make both games and studies simple. And luckily for you, the rules for writing the electronic configuration of molecules are the same as those used to write the electronic configuration of atoms. Do you remember them? They are the Aufbau principle, which states that in the ground state of the atoms, the orbitals are filled in increasing order of energies. Then there is Pauli's exclusion principle, according to which no 2 electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. And finally, as per Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity, pairing of electrons in the orbitals belonging to the same subshell does not take place until each orbital belonging to that subshell has got 1 electron each. Before we proceed, let us identify a set of homonuclear diatomic molecules whose molecular orbital energy levels have been experimentally determined by spectroscopic data. This will help us understand the application of the rules that we have just revisited. The sequence of energy levels for lithium molecule, beryllium molecule, boron molecule, carbon molecule and nitrogen molecule is as shown. Also, it has been scientifically determined that the sequence of energy levels for Li2, Be2, B2, C2, N2 is different from that of O2 and F2. To make things simpler, let us write the configuration and draw the molecular orbital diagram of nitrogen molecule. The first two electrons will move into the sigma 1s orbital. The next orbital to be filled will be sigma star 1s, which will have 2 electrons. Next will be 2 electrons in each of sigma 2s orbital and then sigma star 2s orbital. Now you have to be careful, since pi 2px and pi 2py are degenerate orbitals, that is, they have equal energy. Here, Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity will be applied, and firstly, both the pi 2px and pi 2py orbitals will be singly occupied, and then pairing will take place. The last 2 electrons will move to the sigma 2pz orbital. Now let us see if you can tackle this question about molecular orbitals. Try and answer this one. Will a 2px and a 2pz orbital combine to form molecular orbitals? While I take a short break, put your grey cells to good use. Welcome back. Before the break I had asked you, will a 2px and a 2pz orbital combine to form molecular orbitals? The answer is no. A 2px and a 2pz orbital cannot combine to form molecular orbitals, and this is because they have different symmetries. So far we have gone through the concepts of molecular orbital theory. Now let us understand its applications. To start with, let us consider hydrogen, the simplest of all molecules. The 1s atomic orbitals of the 2 hydrogen atoms form 2 molecular orbitals, that is, bonding orbital sigma 1s and antibonding sigma star 1s. The bonding orbital sigma 1s has a lower energy than antibonding sigma star 1s. The electrons prefer the orbital with a lower energy level. Therefore, for hydrogen molecule, 2 electrons will be filled in sigma 1s orbital. So, the configuration of hydrogen will be sigma 1s 2. Like I have said earlier, electronic configurations are like keys to a treasure, as they help us derive some very important information about molecules. The first aspect being bond order. Bond order is defined as 1/2 the difference between the number of electrons present in the bonding and antibonding orbitals. Now, what will be the bond order of hydrogen molecule? The number of electrons present in the bonding molecular orbital is 2, and the number of electrons present in the antibonding molecular orbital is 0. Therefore, the bond order will be 1. Using electronic configurations, we can also determine the magnetic nature of a molecule. If all the molecular orbitals in a molecule are doubly occupied, the substance will be diamagnetic in nature. This means it will be repelled by magnetic field. However, if one or more molecular orbitals are singly occupied, it will be paramagnetic. This will mean that it will be attracted by magnetic field. There is wonder in every aspect of nature, and behind it the working principle of chemistry. For instance, the helium molecule. The helium molecule has 4 electrons that are distributed in molecular orbitals as sigma 1s2 and sigma star 1s2. As you can see, 2 electrons are present in bonding and antibonding orbitals each. As a result, the difference of the bonding and antibonding is 0, and hence the bond order, which by definition is half of this difference, is 0. And since the bond order for helium molecule is 0, it cannot exist. Quite an amazing fact, isn't this? And we owe it all to the key of electronic configurations. However, the wonders of helium's configurations do not end here. Pay close attention to what our young friend has to say, and you will know why I am saying this.
Then, can you please tell me why the bond order of helium and helium plus ions are different?
We have already seen that the bond order of helium molecule is 0. However, in a positive ion of the helium molecule, the number of electrons is 1 less than that of the neutral molecule. Helium 2+ has 3 electrons distributed as 2 electrons in sigma 1s orbital and 1 electron in sigma star 1s orbital. Its bond order is therefore half of 2 minus 1, that is 1 by 2. The fact that the helium 2+ ion has a bond with bond order half makes it different from a helium molecule and allows it to exist in nature. Simple as these concepts are, they are equally important, and to show you to use them to your advantage in the exams, I'll be back after this break with Exam Decoded. Welcome back. All set to tackle those exam questions? But before that, let's go through a quick recap of what we have learned till now. In the beginning, we saw that atomic orbitals combine and arrange to form bonding and antibonding molecular orbitals. The bonding molecular orbitals have lower energy, while the antibonding orbitals have higher energy than the atomic orbitals. Bond order is defined as 1/2 of the difference between the number of electrons present in the bonding and antibonding orbitals. Armed with that recap, let's face the challenge of Exam Decoded. Welcome to Exam Decoded, where I will help you build up your defenses for your exams. First in order is the rapid fire round. The rules are simple. I will ask you 5 questions and you will get 5 seconds each to answer them. Every time you answer correctly, give yourself 1 mark. At the end of the round, we will see how you have fared according to the topper scorecard. Without further delay, your first question is, both atomic orbitals and molecular orbitals can hold a maximum of 2 electrons. True or false? If you answer true, well done. Give yourself 1 mark. Now let's move on to the next question. Bonding molecular orbitals are formed by which mathematical function? A. Addition, B. Subtraction, C. Multiplication, D. Division. The answer is A. Addition. Now the third question. If the number of bonding electrons is equal to number of antibonding electrons, bond order is A. 0, B. 1, C. 2, D. -1. The answer is A, 0. That was an easy one, wasn't it? Our next question is a multiple choice one. The hydrogen molecule is A, paramagnetic, B, diamagnetic, C, both para and diamagnetic, D, attracted by magnetic field. If you chose option B, you got it right. Now the last question of the rapid fire round. If a bond order is 2, how many electron pairs are shared between two atoms? A, no bond exists. B, one pair of electrons. C, two pairs of electrons. D, three pairs of electrons. The correct answer is option C. How much did you score? If you got 5 out of 5, congratulations, you are a high flyer. 4 or 3 in the scoreboard means that you are an achiever. Anything less than that will make you a learner. That was just a test drive. To revise what we have learned today and to score those crucial extra marks, do log on to www.topperlearning.com. The chapter Chemical Bonding has a weightage of 5 marks, making it a critical part of your exam preparation. The questions asked from this topic are short answer type questions of 2 to 3 marks that will test your conceptual ability. Your grasp over the key concepts will be tested with questions like: write the molecular orbital configuration for a diatomic oxygen molecule O2. Calculate its bond order and predict its magnetic nature for 3 marks. Your approach to this question in the exam should be step by step. First, write the electronic configuration of the diatomic oxygen molecule. While writing the electronic configuration, you should keep in mind that it has 16 electrons. This will fetch you 1 mark. Now, as you know, bond order is equal to half the difference between bonding and antibonding molecular orbitals. From the electronic configuration of oxygen, we get the number of bonding orbitals as 10 and that of antibonding orbitals as 6. Substituting the values in the formula, bond order will come out to be 2. This will fetch you another mark. Now in the last part of the question, you should write that the oxygen molecule will be paramagnetic in nature. This will fetch you half a mark. And in case you want a perfect 3, you must give the reason as well, which is that oxygen has 2 unpaired electrons. A little bit of expert guidance can go a long way in giving that edge to your exam preparations. So let's listen to what our expert has to say.
The major difference between the atomic orbital and molecular orbital is that whereas an electron in an atomic orbital remains under the influence of one and only one nucleus, in a molecular orbital it remains under the influence of 2 or more nuclei depending on the number of atoms present in the molecule. When 2 atomic orbitals combine together, this means 2 wave functions, that is amplitude functions, are combining together, and this combination can occur in 2 different ways. When the crest of one wave function is lying on the crest of other wave function, known as constructive interference, it leads to the bonding molecular orbital. And when the crest of one wave function lies on the trough of another wave function, it leads to the formation of anti-bonding molecular orbital.
Have you ever climbed a ladder with your hands in your pocket? Well, it's impossible, right? Success is just like that ladder. To climb it, you need to roll up your sleeves and put in some hard work. So keep that in mind and keep striving for those perfect scores.